Hey, it is Friday, March 23rd, 6 days after St. Patrick's Day. I guess I didn't say anything about St. Patrick's Day last year, or last week. Probably not last year either, except last year, nope, would have been on a Thursday last year. Well, never mind. So this is just kind of the usual, the weekly update here at TG. I've been listening to some, hopefully, somebody recognized that, what I was just playing there. Been listening to a little bit of unusual stuff. Here's another one by the same guy. It's almost the same song. Wait a minute. Doesn't need that big a slide. Anyway, been driving my family and everybody around here nuts because much of his stuff is a lot more painful than those couple of things. But we'll talk more about that probably next week. So what I want to do is give you an update on what happened around here this week. We had a few, oh, you may have noticed I was playing with a thumb pick. I'm not going to talk about that right now. Saving a little wear and tear on my thumb for that kind of muting technique. So, but this week was kind of special request week around here for our Target members, and a few weeks ago a request came up for a John Hiatt song called Hold On For Your Love, and when I listened to it I thought, you know, that would make a great, the song was very easy as far as strumming goes. Oh wait, if I play it now everybody will get, I did it as an ear training song so you couldn't see my hand as I was running through it, but it had a couple of nice little fills and things in there, and I think people like that. The second request was even, well, even more. That wasn't a pretty bizarre one. The other one was a request from a very close family member that said, hey Dad, anyway, how come you don't have any songs by Rihanna up there? And I said, well, because I haven't really heard any, especially that sounded like they'd make good lessons. She said, hey, you ought to listen to this one, California King Bed. And so I said, hey, okay, I will. That's why it's here. Special treat for my darling daughter Rebecca. And but then we got into Neil Young, On the Way Home, a tune that he plays in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different tunings. Well, not altered tunings, they're all standard tunings, but at a lot of different levels. And this gave me an opportunity to break out. I got a really cool email the other day from the Song Surgeon people. As many of you know, I use Song Surgeon for a lot of things, changing pitches in particular. If a song's a little bit out of tune, some of these guitar tunes, by the way, these are all John Fahey songs. Some of the John Fahey songs are slightly out of tune. I need to change it a quarter of a half tone or something like that to get them right, and it makes it a lot easier to figure it out without messing around with my tuning. But finally they have updated the Mac version to where it has most of the features of the PC version. So, you know, as a dedicated Mac user, I guess sometimes we have to accept the fact that certain things lag behind the PC world. But so appreciate what Jim and the guys did over at Song Surgeon, and got the Mac version out that has all the features of that. So if you're not too familiar with Song Surgeon, I really encourage you to check it out. We have a link around here that will take you to where you can test drive it and use it to change pitch, change the speed. You can slow something down to unlistenable, but it's really easy. One button takes it to 75%, or which is about where I usually want to slow things down to if I need to slow them down. But also could change the pitch, and that's where it came in handy for On the Way Home, because in many of the versions of On the Way Home, Neil Young's tuned down a half step or a whole step or even 2 steps, and listened to about 6 or 8 different versions of it that I had floating around to piece together the lesson. So anyhow, if you're not too familiar with Song Surgeon, the two big things I really use around here a lot, Song Surgeon and Guitar Pro, of course, for writing out tab files. So, but my work with Neil Young this week, with Neil Young songs, not like personally with Neil or anything, but had Song Surgeon came in very handy. So let's see, we had a couple of reviews on, oh, this one, a song I make all my students learn. How's it go? There we go. I'd Love to Change the World by 10 Years After, Alvin Lee. Early days pyrotechnic guitarist extraordinaire. Many of people my age, of course, remember his performance from the Woodstock concert, and at least the movie, those of us that were not there, which is probably most of us. And oh, and then Here Comes the Sun. We, of course, had one of our longtime Target members working on Here Comes the Sun. So the student reviews are still a happening thing. And then with the fly on the wall things this week, had been starting to do more fly on the wall lessons that are not necessarily lessons that I have in the Target program, but many times that lesson that I worked on, this was Kevin working on the Weary Kind from Crazy Heart, and hopefully people got the hang of that. If you're interested in that song, you should be able to learn it from there. Now, I'm toying with the idea every once in a while of going ahead and putting in an attachment for some of the fly on the wall lessons to make them even more useful, like possibly the tablature to the song. And I guess I don't need to take votes on that because everybody's going to say yes, it would be a great thing. I know, but it would just be a little bit more work. Not that I'm opposed to work that is helping out everybody learn to play the guitar better, so which is kind of sort of the whole point of what we do here. And anyway, so Kevin started working on the Weary Kind, and I do have a few more of those of him working on some songs that I keep thinking about doing lessons for. But oh, this happened with me and you and a dog named Boo, by the way, too, with Fred a few weeks ago. Put up a couple of those, and now if anybody's interested in that song, you should be able to play it from just seeing Fred learn it, I think. Maybe we'll even get Fred to do a student upload on that. That would be a good thing. I ought to put the pressure on that guy. So, what else? Oh, one big news for our non-Target members who like to pick up their songs in packs. This week we released I believe it's a 6-pack of Pete Ham and Tom Evans tunes from Badfinger, although I believe one of the songs, no, they're all either duet songs or solo by them. That included stuff like Without You and Carry On Till Tomorrow, and of course one of the songs was not by them. It was Come and Get It. Everybody knows who wrote Come and Get It, right? So I think that's it for the big news, although I guess I do have a little puzzle to give everybody this week. I'm going to grab the other guitar. Speaking of John Fahey, been messing around with some things in alternate tunings. And notice some questions on the forum about we should have things sorted by the tuning they're in. I believe they are, and I think people sort of sorted that out and figured out that if you want to find something in drop D or open G, you can type that in and get the list of tunes that are there. Many of the finger-picking songs have them listed, especially if they're in a slack key tuning, whether they're Taro Patch, open G, or whatever. But as I've been going back to my roots of stuff that I remember hearing as a teenager, and particularly paying attention to John Fahey, heard a really interesting song of his that I'm thinking about doing that is in this tuning now. Check your ears and see if you can figure out what that is. I'll give you a hint. 2 of the strings are standard, and 4 have been retuned. John does a lot of times, is plays songs that don't have a lot of fancy chords in them. You can see. And then he takes a very simple pattern and moves it up the neck maybe. that's what I've been doing. Listening to John Fahey a little bit lately, thinking about doing a few more lessons on his tunes. That's one that is not particularly difficult, but pretty cool, as I recall. Well, as you may have just seen. So, okay, that's it. What was that tuning? Figure it out. Put your earring caps on, your thinking caps on, your hearing caps on. That's what I was looking for. And that's it. I will check out this week and see you next week when it will be still, the very end of March. That's cool. I'm looking forward to it. See ya.